Hey, check this out, y'all. So, I felt I felt led to go for a walk after dinner, and I just so happened to. Oh, that's a cool effect up there. I just so happened to come across this free theater in the park thing, and they're doing The Tragedy of Julius Caesar, and this week they're doing it in this park. Okay, so I guess they're doing it in, I think 3 locations through New York, but point being, I thought that was real interesting after the day that I've had, being in the spirit, and some of the messages and things that have come through. And suffice to say that I've moved locations again, and the area I'm in is very interesting, and I'll go into that maybe at a later point. But so basically, like, what I was getting was like, it's time, right? It's time to pay up for Mystery Babylon, right? For those that have done God's people wrong for a long time, as well as a lot of people, but it's time for her to pay for her crimes. It's very interesting, and right, you've got that. I think the Starmer finally resigned this week, and then I'm getting this, right, I've been getting it real strong that time's up for Mr. Babylon. Oh yeah, ooh, I'm getting reminded that I just remembered that Trump Tower video. There we go, I forgot. My memory, man. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So remember, I made the video, right? I made a few videos at Trump Tower. So I did one last year, I think last January. I think it was like the 18th of January, when I was first here in New York, was a Jeremiah 25 word warning about God's judgment on the Chaldeans, right? And that was obviously a warning, telling the Christians what's coming for America and the West. And then it was a few weeks ago this year, he told me to go back over there to Trump Tower. I wasn't planning on it that day. It just, I was sort of nearby, and I watched the pattern of how I was moving that day, and I'm like, oh no, he's steering me right towards Trump Tower. I was like, okay, what do you want me to say? And I realized that I needed to go read Jeremiah 25 again, and I'd been getting scriptures through the week, and I was already going to make a video, and then I realized this was the video, was the scriptures that he'd been giving me all week, that week when I filmed it. So I can't tell you, I don't remember the date for that, but it's within the last few weeks. And then oh my God, and it was like basically like time's up for the harlot. The prophecy that was given in January last year is now being fulfilled this year. So yeah, not even gonna comment on that. But and then you've got this, right? And then God's giving me all these messages about, man, I don't even want to say about what he was telling personally to me, for me. So I'm not gonna say that yet, but it's serious. And and then I move into this new place, which I've been hesitating to do. I really didn't want to, but he made it clear. It's like, that's the mission. I have to. I have to complete my mission from the Lord. And then I go eat, right? I have a good chat with a roommate who I think I'm sent. Is one of the reasons why I'm here. Is sent to pray for this man. And then have a decent meal, which is rare in a place like I'm in. And then I'm like, I need to go. I feel led to go on a walk. It's a good idea. I just ate a lot. pretty full. I don't want to just go lay down and feel miserable. So I go to an area of this park. I've been here before, but I'd never been over here. And then I just see this little hubbub going down, and that was a cool little view. And then at first I thought a bunch of homeless people were living here for a second. And I was like, wait a minute, that's all costumes and stuff. And then I've seen these people before practicing in Central Park. I was like, oh, here we go. They're doing Tragedy of Julius Caesar. And then, you know, took me, you know, a few seconds to catch on that the Lord had led me here and was trying to tell me something. And so, back in my days of studying the Donald Trump, I noticed a pattern that was pretty obvious and inescapable, was that there was a lot of comparison to him with Julius Caesar. And it seemed pretty obvious that that was his part to play in the play. Right? Right, like that was one of the things they did around when he got elected the first time, is they had that, right, they did that really grotesque, you know, modern version of Julius Caesar with Donald Trump getting like pulled off the podium and stabbed to death. So, in a way, I think it's scripted. Excuse me. I said I eat a lot. Hello, Mr. Squirrel. Like I said, oh, there's another one. Oh my God, I'm surrounded. As I said, right, a lot of people, a lot of truthers, a lot of the really conspiracy-minded Christians will, you know, they freak out about this kind of stuff, like, oh, but the devil planned it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but God allowed them to, right? How do you know it's not, right? Like it's not God's plan too. So I'm not really going to get into too much of the conspiracy stuff, but all I'm going to say is this is pretty on the nose message, and it's confirmation with my previous Trump Tower videos and some other stuff that I've been doing that I haven't uploaded yet. There's another Trump Tower over by the UN that I think I might have known about at some point. I forgot, and I just happened to cross it, and yeah. So anyways, all that to say is that I don't think the Don, or at least some form of him, is going to be around too much longer. So I'll put it that way. No, I'm not making a threat on the President of the United States. I'm just saying somebody is going to get him. And I have nothing to do with it. So feds and all that, I have nothing to do with it. I'm just putting what I'm seeing, what I believe God has led me to see and share, is that Donald Trump, I don't think, is long for this world. So, or at least, like I said, the character of Donald Trump in the form that people are so used to seeing him. So, we'll see. But, you know, I don't have much to say on it. Other than that, it's, like I said, it's pretty on the nose. I think that they've telegraphed it pretty heavily about their intentions, right? Those that are plotting and scheming, like financiers and you know, banking families and this, that, the other thing, all these people ruling from the shadows, they've pretty much telegraphed what their plans were for Donald. So, and I really only say that, and I'm not really giving them glory or anything, but they're really slaves to the devil and the principalities and powers, right? The evil rulers of this world in the spiritual realm. They're nothing but puppets to them. So, geez, all you birds getting feisty. I don't got nothing for you. So, that is what I think is on the near horizon as the West crashes and burns faster and faster, which is a just judgment from God. People are trying to give like Esau and the devil glory. I'm like, no, don't be a fool. God is judging the West. People like they just have this idea that the West is so righteous and glorious. I'm like, it's not. You know how they got that glory and those riches? They stole it, murdered for it. That's how they got it. You think the West could achieve all these achievements and these technological advances they could without pillaging and plundering the rest of the world, enslaving the rest of the world? That's how they did it. Is that glorious? No, that sounds like Nimrod and Babel. How did he build that, right? They built this giant, magnificent monolith. How'd they do it? Slaves, murdering, conquering. So you can't just sit there and just say, oh, well, you know, we believe in the Christian God and practice some biblical principles and then ignore others. Hypocritical. Hello, sir. Yeah, is it going to be here or down there?
It's here.
Oh, okay. All right.
In the rooms.
Okay, yeah, I'll take one. Thank you. I appreciate it.
7 o'clock.
All right.
Program and support.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Hey, I found out where it is. I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm homeless. You know what I mean? This is one of the best things you can do for homeless people. Is, you know, is theater, stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking, is like they need the arts. They need, a lot of them are pretty creative, and they need instruments and things like that, something to do, and they could pump out some really good stuff. So that's what I've noticed. So yeah, if I get in charge of something, I'll make sure that the homeless get instruments and arts and crafts, things like that, and not like children's nonsense, like to God, what do you call that when you look down on somebody? You know what I mean? But no, like what they actually need, so they can make stuff, so they can feel like a human being, like they're made in the image of God. So anyways, that's just like me to just, you know, go off track a little bit with squirrels and that. It's all right. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna take part in this little cultural event. And, you know, that's the word, is I'm pretty sure that God is signaling, once again, as I've stated the evidence, the clear history of evidence on my channel. And I don't even know how many other videos where I've talked about this kind of stuff, specifically with Trump. I've mentioned it a lot. I've lost track. I don't remember. You know, there's receipts. People just watch the videos or, you know, call me out or whatever. I don't care. But I'm sure there's a treasure trove of me saying this and me saying that's going to line up with this. So, and that's all to the glory of God. Because if it matches up and becomes true, right, it was only because of the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. So I ain't taking the credit for that. If you knew me, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, nobody's perfect, but man, it's like I'm a silly man. That's a beautiful dog. So that's the word. I'll try to get this uploaded ASAP. Kind of difficult. There's no Wi-Fi where I'm staying, so I have to kind of huff it. So like maybe late night, go do a little thumbnail magic, right? Create something. No, I'm not talking about literal magic. It's just an expression. I go create something, which I'm not used to doing. I'm not too great at yet, but you know, I'll figure it out. Obviously from the really childish last few thumbnails. So, yeah, you're gonna bully me, it's fine. I don't care. I'm not really gonna pay attention to people being negative like that. You know, if it's constructive, then I'll read it and consider it, but yeah. If you really knew me and knew my history and all that, the history of abuse, and I'm not signaling that I'm a victim, but I'm just saying, then you would understand why my creative ability isn't really honed yet. So, all right, that's word. Yeah, Donald Trump is gonna catch it from somebody. He's pissed a lot of people off, so just about most people I meet in New York just don't like him, want him dead. So they're pretty adamant and vocal about that. So I'm like, geez, bro, you guys have no idea what you're asking for. So I certainly am not asking for that for him or anyone. they have no idea what they're asking for. It's really going to kick things off. You know, I'm talking like Great Tribulation wise. It's really going to kick off. Is the feeling I get. You want to talk about acceleration? You want to talk about the days going quicker and quicker? You just watch what happens when this goes down. All hell's going to break loose. That's what I believe. So we'll see. We'll see, won't we? Well, God bless in the mighty name of Lord Yeshua Jesus. Pray you're all blessed, edified, and test the word. See if it's true. You have to go to God the Father. So, and we'll see. Peace.